मेरे हिसाब से तो लीडर सबकी मदद करना चाहिए.
सबका मदद करते और सबके प्रॉब्लम्स सॉल्व करते.
ఎందుకంటే మొత్తం అవినీతితో దేశాన్ని నింపేశారు కాబట్టి మంచి లీడర్ వస్తే దేశం బాగుపడుతుంది.
అతను ఒక లీడర్ అని కాకుండా అతనిలో కలిసిపోతే అతని తోటి వారికి కూడా లీడర్ అనే అతనిలో సమానమైన వ్యక్తి అని భావిస్తే అప్పుడు ఆయన ఒక నిజమైన లీడర్ అవుతాడని నాకు.
మన సమస్య ఏదైనా ఉన్నా కానీ మనం పరిష్కరించుకోవడము మన సొంతంగా లీడర్షిప్ చేసుకున్నట్టే కదా.
లీడర్షిప్ అంటే అది మన ఒక్కరికి సొంతం అయ్యేది కాదు.
मेरे हिसाब से वही लीडरशिप है जो लोगों को लीड करना, अपने आप को लीड करना और अपने फैमिली को लीड करना, अपने आस पड़ोस को लीड करना.
There was no game plan. There was just this burning desire to do something about India. And our journey somehow led us to this community called Rasulpura. It happens to be located just beyond a main thoroughfare. You know, there are nice facades, good buildings, and we have crisscrossed that road at least once every day, more or less in the past couple of years. And we have no clue that just beyond a few buildings there is an entire community spread across some 3.5 square kilometers, population of more than 100,000 people, with large number of children who live really miserable lives, who we knew nothing about before we landed up there. And we started going there every day, morning and evening, and we started looking at the situation in that community. And the first thing we committed to within that community was do something about that school.
मेरा नाम शेख नईम है. मैं रसूलपुरा में यहीं पे बाजू स्लम में पैदा हुआ, बड़ा हुआ, यहाँ पे रहता हूँ. और हमारी फैमिली यहाँ पे पिछले 30 साल से यहाँ पे 1979 से हमारी फैमिली यहाँ पर रह रही है. रसूलपुरा में एक बस्ती है, श्रीलंका बस्ती, मोहम्मदिया नगर करके. वो बस्ती में जहाँ पर मेरा घर है, पिछले 30 साल से जब से बस्ती स्टेबलाइज हुई वहाँ पर ड्रिंकिंग वाटर, ग्राउंड वाटर के लिए बहुत प्रॉब्लम होता था. तो उस बोरवेल को हम लोगों ने कंटोनमेंट बोर्ड जो कि यहाँ की म्यूनसिपल अथॉरिटी है उनको अप्रोच किया कि हम इतने 100 फैमिली से हमको पानी का प्रॉब्लम है, आप इसमें मशीन डालो. एक 2-3 महीने स्ट्रगल करने के बाद डेली वो लोग फाइनली वहाँ पर वाटर ये करें और वो वाटर अब नियरली 350 to 400 फैमिलीज़ को अभी बेनिफिट कर रहे हैं. तो इस तरह से हमें एक इंकरेजमेंट मिला कि अरे 30 साल का प्रॉब्लम था, कई पॉलिटिकल पार्टी से, कई लीडर से कुछ नहीं करे, हम लोग थोड़ी सी मेहनत करें तो सक्सेस हुआ, और भी कुछ कर सकते करके इस तरह से एक्टिविटीज़ कर रहे थे.
When we started doing this, some of the members from the community, served some wake-up calls for us. Here we are having all kinds of dreams about transformation center and school and college and everything. Literally in those few days we dreamt up everything that will happen to Rasulpura. We had been robbed of an opportunity to secure the ground. But what stared at us was an opportunity to build classrooms. Starting at the stroke of midnight, 150 people showed up and we cleared the entire rubble, we leveled the ground, we cleaned the garbage in the ground. We built walls that stood 3 feet high and would then translate into 3 classrooms for that school. And we did that and we felt very great about ourselves. That's all it meant to us in that moment, that we had actually participated in building something that was a physical structure. That was the beginning for us.
हम लोगों को ये पता चला था रसूलपुरा में कि कोई लोग बाहर से आए, गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में कुछ डेमोलेशन का काम करे और वो चले गए बोल के एक मालूम हुआ था. फिर उसके बाद थोड़े दिनों के बाद ये पता चला कि नहीं, वो लोग कुछ क्लासरूम्स बना रहे हैं यहाँ पर रसूलपुरा में. स्कूल में जो खस्ता हालत में पड़े हुए थे क्लासरूम्स, उसको कंस्ट्रक्शन कर रहे हैं खुद अपने सेल्फ से. तो उसके बाद मुझे भी ख्वाहिश थी कि चलो ऐसा कोई करने वाले हैं तो उनसे हम भी मिलेंगे, लेकिन कभी मौका नहीं मिला.
So when we were working in Rasulpura, we would look out for people who, despite their circumstances and the limitations of their life, are there individuals who are investing their own time and resources in trying to do something about the problems of their own community. We needed to identify such people.
लेकिन एक दिन एक रजिया आंटी करके है भूमि में, उन्होंने मुजीब भाई से कांटेक्ट थे और उनको मुझसे पहचाना थी बस्ती में. तो उन्होंने एक दिन बोले क्या ऐसा मुजीब भाई बोल के ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है भूमि के, वो आपसे एक बार मिलना चाह रहे हो. मैं बोला मैं जिसको ढूंढ रहा था वही मुझे बुला रहे. तो तो एक बार मुजीब भाई की मेरी मुलाकात हुई और उसके बाद मुजीब भाई हम लोग बैठ के डिस्कशन करें। हमारा जो जज्बा है वो जो मुजीब भाई का जो मकसद है, मुजीब भाई राकेश भाई भूमि का जो मकसद है वो 2 मैच हो रहे हैं, तो उसमें बस हम लोग किस तरह से कोलैबोरेट करके दोनों मिलकर, हमारा मकसद है बस्ती डेवलप होना, भूमि का मकसद है लीडरशिप डेवलप होना, तो ये 2 मैच हुआ तब से हम लोग साथ ये कर रहे हैं।
It took us about 2.5 years to identify 2 people. And that's how we got started. And of course, now we have about 7.
నా పేరు ఊర్మిళ. మేము ఇక్కడ రసూల్పురాలో ఉంటాము, అన్ననగర్లో. మేము ఇక్కడ లీడర్షిప్ ఫెలోగా వర్క్ చేస్తున్నాము. ఇక్కడ లీడర్షిప్ ట్రైనింగ్ తీసుకుంటూ బస్తీలో ఆ లీడర్షిప్ ఎలా చేయాలి అనేది బస్తీ వాళ్ళకు చేస్తున్నాం అన్నమాట.
One of the good things about our fellows is that these people are genuinely interested in creating solutions for their own community. So when we take a fellow on, what becomes important for us is to help them in a structured way get a perspective on the challenges of their own community. We have broadly identified 6 areas of work where challenges can be identified: education, livelihood, health and wellness, water sanitation, environment and social justice. We expose them to various non-profits or NGOs that are working across these sectors to help them get a perspective on approaches to solving problems in communities across these 6 areas. Once they get this exposure, they have to identify one area within which they would like to take a live problem and create a solution for that problem for their own community.
మేము ఒక ఉమెన్స్ కమిటీ వేస్తే బాగుంటుందని ఈ మీటింగ్ ద్వారా ఆలోచన వచ్చింది. ఒక 100 మెంబర్స్ని గ్యాదర్ చేసినాం. ఇలాంటి కమిటీ వేసి మన బస్తీలో ఏదైనా సమస్య ఉన్నా కానీ పరిష్కరించుకోవచ్చు. దాంట్లో ఉమెన్స్ కమిటీలో దేనిపైన మీరు కమిటీ వర్క్ చేస్తారంటే హెల్త్, ఎడ్యుకేషన్, లవ్లీహుడ్ పైన, ఈ 3 పైన చేద్దామని ఆలోచన చేసినాం అన్నమాట.
ఎర్లీ ఇంటర్వెన్షన్ అలా చేసాము. చిన్నపిల్లలకి 5 to 9 months పిల్లలకి టెస్టింగ్ చేసామన్నమాట.
అయితే దాంట్లో చాలా వరకు పిల్లల్ని బేబీ టెస్టింగ్ అని చేసేది. ఫస్ట్లో మనకి ఏది తెలియకుండా ఈ జాబ్లోకి వచ్చినాం కదా, వచ్చి కూడా వాళ్ళకి మొబిలైజ్ చేయించి పేరెంట్స్ వాళ్ళతో తిరిగి చేసినాం అన్నది మాకు అది బాగా అనిపించింది.
रसूलपुरे में नियरली 15,000 यूथ रहते हैं यहाँ पे, लेकिन अलग अलग तरीक़ों में डिवाइड होके। तो हम लोगों ने एक रसूलपुरे के ये जो भी मैं लीडरशिप सीखा उसके साथ मैं लोकल यहाँ के लोगों के साथ एक यूनाइटेड रसूलपुरा करके एक सोसाइटी कमेटी बनाए, फॉर्म करें, यूनाइटेड रसूलपुरा एजुकेशन एंड वेलफेयर सोसाइटी। ये कमेटी जो मैं यहाँ से ट्रेनिंग लेता हूँ, वो ट्रेनिंग में उसमें जो लोग हैं इंटरेस्टेड उनको ट्रेन करके उससे कम्युनिटी में चेंजेस लाने के लिए, जब तक लोकल लोग सब जने इन्वॉल्व नहीं होंगे डेवलपमेंट में, किसी 1 से 4 से 10 से काम नहीं होगा। 1 लाख नियरली पॉपुलेशन की बस्ती में एटलीस्ट थाउजेंड्स ऑफ पीपल चाहिए कि इसको चेंज करने के।
When the individuals grow in these 2 areas, which is 1, their own character and attitudes, and 2, acquire skills, which means finance management, mobilizing people, communications, government policies, development paradigms. Any of these are subjects that these people need an understanding of, so that they can come up with effective solutions and implement the same in their own community. For them to learn these skills, we invite trainers and academicians and experts to our transformation center, where sessions are conducted at various intervals for our fellows. Our fellows learn everything and apply all that they are learning in creating solutions for their own community across these 6 areas.
ब्रिज एक रसूलपुरे को 2 पार्टों में डिवाइड करता हुआ एक नाला जाता, इंडस्ट्रियल वेस्ट का और जो भी ड्रेनेज का एक नाला जाता, तो वो नाले के ऊपर से एक ब्रिज थी जो कि 25-30,000 पॉपुलेशन को कनेक्ट करती थी एक दूसरे से। वो ब्रिज पिछले 3 साल पहले रेन फ्लो आने की वजह से, ज़्यादा पानी आने की वजह से वो टूट गया था। कुछ कचरा टक गया तो पब्लिक उसको तोड़ के पास करे ताकि घरों में पानी ना घुसे। उसके 1 साल के बाद कंटोनमेंट बोर्ड और हमारे लोकल MLA यहाँ के कॉरपोरेटर आके एक छोटी सी ब्रिज डाले जिस पे के बाई वॉक लोग जा सकते, 4 लाख रुपए खर्च करके, और ऑटो तो पास नहीं हो सकता था। और ज़्यादातर लोग क्या करते थे, बाइकों पे गाड़ियों पे जाते जाते लेडीज़ अगर गए तो उनको धक्के मारना वगैरह, न्यूसेंस वगैरह सब कर रहे थे। और कुछ दिन पहले एक लेडी को कार्डियक अरेस्ट हुआ था उस एरिया में, और वहाँ से ऑटो में लेके वो 4 किलोमीटर दूर की सराउंडिंग बस्ती में से निकल के बाहर जाने तक उनका डेथ हो गया। अगर हार्ट अटैक आके वो इमीडिएटली डेथ हो गया और बात है, लेकिन एक ऐसा रीज़न है जो कि हम लोग मिलकर कुछ कर सकते हैं उसके लिए। बहुत से लोगों के साथ बैठे बात करें, क्या करेंगे कैसा करेंगे, तो ऐसा सजेशन लाते लाते एक ऐसा है कि हम लोग एक टेम्पररी ब्रिज बनाएंगे। वो ब्रिज पे से कम ऑटो पास हो सके, तो उसके लिए थोड़ा सा पैसा चाहिए। तो इधर से उधर से पुराने सामानों को जोड़े, लोगों से डोनेट लिए, थोड़ा सा कंट्रीब्यूशन, पूरे जितने भी यूथ मेंबर्स थे कमेटी के सब लोग कंट्रीब्यूट करके 11,000 रुपये के खर्च में हम लोग वो एक ब्रिज बनाए, जिसमें 2-4 लोहे के पाइप बीच में डालें और बीच में एक प्लेट डाल के उसके ऊपर से चकलों का फ्लोरिंग करें। और वो हमारा यह था कि कम से कम ऑटो हो जाएगा, 2 व्हीलर जाने के लिए वो ईजी रहेगा। लेकिन अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह वो इतना स्ट्रांगली बना इतनी मेहनत करने के बाद कि अब उसके ऊपर से कार भी जा सकती। और ये करने के लिए सिर्फ हम लोग 5-6 लोग 10 लोग मिलके इनिशिएटिव को स्टार्ट करें, लेकिन सुबह 8 बजे से रात के 8 बजे तक कंस्ट्रक्ट करने में करीब 200 से ज़्यादा लोग वॉलंटियरली इन्वॉल्व हुए उसमें, जो कि एक दूसरे को पहचानते नहीं। आगे जाके कुछ हम करें या ना करें, लेकिन ये एक ऐसी चीज़ कर सके कि 20,000 लोगों को जो गवर्नमेंट नहीं कर सकी वो काम हम करके बेनिफिट दिए। ये ज़िंदगी की बहुत बड़ी खुशी है।
India is a wonderful country when it comes to charity. Regardless of which faith system we come from, all faiths that we follow exhort us to be charitable. Be it Islam, be it Hinduism, be it Christianity. So, Indians, most average Indians, do a lot of charity. Where does a lot of this charity funding go? Apart from, of course, religious institutions, it goes to funding schools, like establishing classrooms, or having infrastructure like benches and fans in classrooms, or paying salaries of teachers, or paying fees of children who come from slums but can't afford to pay their own fees, right? It's all well-meaning, well-intentioned, and I appreciate it for what it does. But where it hurts me is a realization that we've been doing this kind of charity for years on end. Some people are fortunate to benefit from this kind of charity. But what this charity fails to do is change the circumstances which create this kind of people. When you live in circumstances like those, it is not possible to not be angry.
काफ़ी लोगों के पास गुस्सा होता है, लेकिन वो या तो सामने उसको गाली दे के निकाल लेते हैं, उसको बोल के निकालते हैं, या पीछे उसको ब्लेम करते हुए उन्होंने ऐसा कर रहा है ऐसा कर रहा है। लेकिन मेरा जो गुस्सा है, मेरी जो तकलीफ है, मैं उसको दिमाग से, अपने सोच से मैं उसको एक इम्प्लीमेंट में ला। वो इम्प्लीमेंट ये है कि लोगों को जगाने का काम।
It's almost like potential energy. If I convert that potential energy into building something for community, what then it creates for communities is magical. That's what Naeem is doing. I mean, instead of getting angry and breaking bridges, he's going and building bridges in the community. Where is the passion, the energy coming from? It's coming from the same dissatisfaction that he experiences, just as so many other community members of his experience.
जो हम बचपन से देखते हुए आ रहे तकलीफ, आज वो तकलीफें नहीं हुए सर का। आज जितना हो सका हमारे जो टीम मेंबर्स हैं, हमारे जो मेंबर्स हैं, हम लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं, लेकिन वो सस्टेनेबल नहीं है, हमें पता है। और लोग चाहिए और वो जोड़ने का काम कर रहे हैं। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह काफ़ी लोग उसमें हमारे काम को देख के आगे आ रहे हैं।
People don't really understand leadership development. They see it as intangible. You know, the gains come over a long period of time.
What we are really talking about when we say people who create solutions on ground out of deep understanding of themselves, systems and people's problems is people rising from the ground. And at each level of leadership demonstrating their competence. The kind of leadership that is available in this country is largely foisted from the top. There are 3 paradigms that come to my mind as broadly the accepted norms of leadership. A, I inherit constituency. The second is, I have earned so much money that I can afford to buy a constituency, so I can purchase power. Lastly, I will muscle in, I will terrorize enough number of people into surrendering to me. These 3 paradigms are paradigms that we have collectively agreed upon. We've somehow believed power means power over people. We've somehow believed leadership means that one must surrender completely, and this Lord up above leader figure will do things for us. I can only act out of convictions. I really have to believe in something. I have to believe I'm right to be able to act in the way that I do. Many of my premises have been wrong. Many of my approaches have been wrong. And I have been able to learn how I go wrong. Every day is a new lesson in humility. Leadership is a never-ending lesson. The more you learn about leadership, the more you realize there is to learn. And everything that you learn, you try and live up to it, because leadership is all about being. It's about, so if you're saying, let's be less corrupt, it's about being more honest in your day-to-day life. You may not be all honest, but definitely more honest than the previous moment. You may slip up and fail, but you can own up to it and then walk on. Courage would be, I'd look for courage in their eyes. Only a person who can walk this journey with an understanding that I may fall, but I will stand up again and walk, takes courage. Second, I said empathy. Empathy, because without empathy, you cannot really do anything for people. Leadership is about serving people. If you can't empathize with them, you won't be able to serve them.